Today I want to talk briefly about track saws. Now there's a lot of videos already out there that talk about the benefits of track saws or compare the different brands, but I want to talk specifically about the Kreg track saw that I use and how you can extend it to make longer cuts. And if you stay tuned until the end, I'll give you a tip on how I think I got a great deal on this particular track saw. Now to address those that immediately say you don't need a track saw. They're right. You could definitely use your traditional circular saw and a straight edge like a 2x4 to make those cuts. When you want to start thinking about a track saw is when you're doing the cuts frequently enough that you'd like to make it easier or save some time. The nice thing about a track saw is they have additional features like a dust collection port and an anti-slip surface so that you don't have to worry about clamping things down. Also, unlike with a circular saw, where you need to take into account the offset between your blade and your straight edge, a track saw is designed to cut flush against the track. So what you're cutting is your exact measurement. And finally, the zero clearance track gives you a nice clean cut with minimal tear out. Kreg calls their track saw an ACS plunge saw, and it comes with a 62-inch guide track. I really like supporting Kreg as the saw works great and Kreg, the company, is barely 25 minutes away from me. Now specifically what I wanted to go over with this track saw was how to cut things longer than 62 inches. I tend to use my track saw a lot to cut down sheet goods into more manageable sizes that I can then cut to specific sizes on the table saw. Lately, I've been cutting a lot of 1/4 inch sheets of acrylic that have a length of 96 inches. To do that, I need to extend the length of the track, and I found it a bit confusing trying to navigate all the Kreg product names to find exactly what I needed. In the end, I found all I needed was another 62-inch ACS guide track and a connector kit to give me a total length of 124 inches. You can find links to all these items down below in the description. But now it's time to get these things unboxed and assembled. Assembly wasn't too bad, but make sure you even up both tracks so that everything goes through smoothly with the cut. I would have to say that this is ridiculously big, it's going to be hard to store, and more than likely I'll need to disassemble it and just use the shorter piece for most cuts. One suggestion I would make to Kreg is give a shorter piece that we can use for an extension, because I would have to guess a lot of woodworkers are just trying to get to over 96 inches to cut a sheet of plywood. But now I've got a sheet of acrylic to cut, so I'm going to go ahead and put this track to use. That worked out really well. I didn't have any issues cutting my 96 inches in length. A couple things that I want to point out. Number one, if you see some blue dust on here, that's because there's a zero clearance edge on the guide that needs to be cut off on first use. The second thing I wanted to point out is I probably have people shouting at me down in the comments saying, David, you didn't need an extension. One section is plenty to cut widthwise of that sheet. But I need to take one cut lengthwise to best use my sheet goods for the templates that I make on the laser. So that's why I need to do one strip down the side lengthwise, and I will easily save money and material to make up for the cost of this extension. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I was going to tell you how I think I got a great deal on this track saw. Now I'm not affiliated with Kreg, or am I affiliated with Rockler, but I'm going to post down below a link to this track saw on Rockler. It retails on there for about $400. One of the things great about Rockler is if you sign up for their mailing list, they routinely send out a 20% off one-item coupon. And this Kreg track saw qualifies for that 20% off. That means you can get the saw and one of the 62-inch track guides for 20% off, which is a savings of $79. Kick in the fact that on orders over $49, if you're using that coupon code, you also get free shipping. One of the reasons I really love Rockler is their shipping is super fast for me. If I order things in the morning, then I usually get it the evening the next business day in the free shipping. So they've made me a huge fan of their shipping department. One thing I want to reiterate is I'm not affiliated with Rockler or Kreg at all. If you use any of those links below, I'm not making any money off of that. It all goes to them. So if you want to help me out because you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, feel free to click that like button. And if you want to follow along with my maker journey, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Until then, happy making.